Hello, OB students. This is another of your Acronymous class, which is a makeup class for 6th of March, which you missed out during the midterm examination. Topic for today's class is motivation from concepts to application. Before we go to the second part, that you can, to application, let us first understand what motivation is. Motivation is a drive that makes you do things. Sometimes it could be an inner drive. Sometimes it could be a drive coming from the external circumstances or situation. You have a great desire to be the best, excel, be the perfectionist. You want to do things for people. You want to look after your parents. You have to want to be nice to people. These are inner drives. But then there are things like your father says, if you get able to do this, I will reward you with this. This is what you call an extrinsic motivation. And the intrinsic motivation is that happens for something itself only. Now, motivation, we need to understand, has three major elements. First element in motivation is the desire. You desire, want to do something. Whether this desire is coming from within you or this desire is being pushed or pulled from some of the things which are external. There has to be a desire. If the desire isn't there, the motivation doesn't. But the second element of the motivation is the intensity of the desire. How much you want to do something. How do you want to succeed? How much do you want to win? How much you want to make a good name for yourself? How? What is the strength of that desire? And the intensity. And the third thing that comes in the persistence. Will this desire and intensity last or will it just die down? So in many cases, what happens is this dies down. And then, we try to understand these three elements through different theories of motivation. First of the one that has been the hierarchy of needs by Maslow, which has been very popular. Move from physiological to security needs to belonging, then ego and esteem, and then finally you go to self-actualization. Then there is another very important theory that we work on, that is the two-factor theory, in which the elements have been split, motivation elements have been split into two areas. One is called the hygiene factors. They're not really the motivation factors. These are the factors, absence of which will cause dissatisfaction. Then there are the motivation factors, which we talked about, things like, challenges, greater responsibility, authority, etc., greater power, promotion, so on and all that. So there are the motivation factor, hygiene factor, like the pay is a motivation, is a hygiene factor. And it is also things like working conditions and so on, a hygiene factor. The supervision is also a hygiene factor. So there are times when these hygiene factors can in certain situations become motivation. If your pay is very low, In that particular case, the slight increase will be a motivation factor. But if your pay is high, then this will push you. But by and large, pay has to be seen as a motive, as a hygiene factor. It is because you do the work and you get paid. But then the very important thing comes for all of us, and that is how are we going to be using these motivation factors to from the theories that you studied and so on and all that to what you call the job, the application. Here, one of the important things is the job characteristic model, which is starts with the skill variety your job has lots of different things and so on and all that. You get excited to do it. There is the task identity. The book gives you the example of a woodcutter who starts with cutting the wood and eventually makes the piece. In real life, it doesn't happen. But by and large, if you're given a job and you have the full responsibility of the job or something that's a task identity, then there is a task significance. How important the job that you're doing is for, sorry, is for how many people will benefit out of it. What is going to be the significance of the job on the people around you and so on and all that. The book is given an example of a surgeon or a nurse and so on and all that, whose work has a great deal of significance. Lots of people will benefit from that and all that. And they've also given the example of the janitor who does a very good job and all that. But the significance of their job is not that strong as that of a nurse or a doctor and so on and all that. That's one factor. Then there is what you call the autonomy. How much authority that you are given in a job or something, which is also something very important. And as a result of which you feel good about it. Oh, I had, you could do it your own way, like at IOBM. Most of the faculty have been given the autonomy to teach the way that they're more comfortable in teaching with. But then there is another very important part that feedback. The feedback doesn't come in. Then obviously there is you don't know how good you did and how bad you did. So these are the what you call the JCM model. And possibly in the examination you could ask question on this as well. There is job rotation. You transferred from one job to the other. But remember, the job has to be related to your work. It doesn't have to be you sent to a place where you have no idea of what the thing is all about. Then they sometimes come up with a job enrichment. Maybe they give you a bigger title or something and all that. There are times they can, like give you, expand your job and all that. That doesn't motivate so much. Then the other ways of motivating people is one is giving them the flex time. They can come in at the time that they like. They're required to put in the required number of hours. Then sometimes there is what you call a job sharing. Two or more people can be sharing a job. Then there is telecommuting, which has become very popular now. Another thing that is work from home that has also become very popular. So there are all these things that make the thing. But then there are things like the pays and bonuses and all that, which obviously are great motivating factor. But these are what you call the external factors I've told you. But then there are a lot of employee recognition programs and all that. And here, many times, like you don't get a pay, anything paid or something, and you get a certificate and you get recognition or something. This is basically like an intrinsic reward. It's not that. Okay, this is so much about my part. And now, I want you to watch this great, wonderful video by head of the department, Dr. Shibut Tagore, on motivation from concept to application, and then answer the question. And that will make for your attendance and also for your mark. Okay, that's about all. And thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.